All right, so today's the day. We are hitting the dyno. We're gonna go see what this car makes. I'm hoping for around 450. That's like my number, which I don't get hung up on numbers a lot because I just want the car to run good. So we're gonna hop into this. I'm gonna get these radiator caps changed because my new ones come, and we're gonna hit the dyno. So here's what I got for radiator caps. I got a 31 to 33 pound to put on the radiator to essentially block it off. And then for this one, I got the 23 to 25. Pretty much, I want that to stay sealed. And if it needs to relieve pressure, I want it to do it here at the expansion tank. That way it doesn't get an air pocket on the radiator side. It's always gonna push its pressure from right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these put on and get the air intake that I made put on, and we're gonna drive over to the dyno. All right, so my buddy Dave's in there setting it up for speed density. We're gonna run this car without the mass airflow. So he's setting that up right now, turning the mass airflow off, and we're gonna get it on the dyno. So one of the problems we were having was this plug was wired backwards, which they normally always are. But I had my map sensor plugged into the crank sensor. So now we have the right plug. I gotta extend this harness to make it work. All right, so I had to extend the wires and plug it in since I had them plugged up wrong. Now we're on go. So unfortunately, the vet is hurt. The last dyno pull we did, the car started squeaking, and I was thinking, as soon as I heard it, I knew exactly what it was probably gonna be. It sounds like the cam bearings. But the more and more it run, actually what happened was that last pull we did, we went to crank it and the battery was dead. It's got a brand new battery in it. So I knew battery wasn't our issue. I knew the motor was getting tight because the power numbers were going down every pull. And it was nothing to do with the tune whatsoever. It's gonna be something I did with the motor. You know, things happen. Nobody's ever perfect. So all thing I can do is get this thing pulled out, get it apart, see what happened. I got another 6.2 sitting there. I got the old LS1 sitting right there. We're gonna do our best to make this event Friday. It's one of them things happen. I assembled the motor. I mean, I'll do the best I can. I've never had a failure on any of the motors I've built. Glad it happened to me and nobody else's car. You just gotta look at this thing and smile about it and just keep on moving. Don't let it get you down. Things happen. It's part of hot rodding. So I'm gonna go ahead and start yanking this out and we're gonna find out what it is. If I have to, I got 221,000 mile LS1 that come out. That thing never left me stranded. It just leaked a little bit of oil. So we'll get back into this. See what the oil's looking like. Ooh, that doesn't look good. Definitely some metal there. So I got the cam retaining plate off and I'm seeing that, and I don't like the way that looks. But once I unbolted the cam gear and got this off, which I never tried to spin it after I took the cam gear off, the thing spins fine. It slides in and out good. I'm getting ready to pull it out now, but I mean, that thing spins free. So I gotta keep going. So the cam come out with no problems. I took the retaining plate, put it on the cam, bolted the gear back on just to see if it was locking the cam down, but it spins free. I mean, everything seems fine with that. Like, I mean, the cam is in perfect shape. So I pulled the motor out last night, drained the oil as you've seen, and it had metal in it. So what we're gonna do today is to get the car ready to go to the event this weekend. I got a 6-liter block to come out of a burn up Yukon. Motor looks good. It's actually an engine I was gonna give to Drift HQ for one of their rental cars, but they ended up getting sponsored by Texas Speed and they didn't need it. So I got it sitting here. I was gonna throw the LS1 back in, but I really wanna use the LS3 intake and stuff. So I'm gonna take the LS2 or LS3 heads that I have on that 6.2 that come out, throw them on this 6-liter that I got, and we're just gonna throw that in. It's gonna be a temporary setup until I find out what happened to the 6.2. The cam bearings look fine in it. So 6.2 is out. We're going back to a 6-liter. I'm gonna try to get that motor dressed up today, get it back in and get it running today. And that'll give me Thursday and Friday to get it tuned and get the alignment straight. And we still might make the event this weekend. So it's on me. It ain't nothing a tuner did. When I first cranked the engine up, it only had about 40 pounds of oil pressure, which kind of bothered me then, but you could rev it and get 60 out of it. So I was like, oh, it's probably fine. But I'm pretty sure the melon oil pump that I put in, it was just a stock replacement pump, nothing special. I don't know. I had a few buddies of mine tell me that they had issues with them pumps hanging a relief valve. So I don't know if that caused something. Another thing is the oil was very thin. Me running the car without being tuned, it was still running a stock LS1 tune with the LS3 injectors, and it was really rich, but it did run good. And when I started draining the oil, you could just smell fuel like really bad. And even the day before, or even yesterday morning before I took it to the dyno, I checked the oil, it was full, but it didn't smell right. It smelled kind of gassy, and I was like, it'll probably be all right. I'm gonna change the oil after the dyno session. Little did I know I'm gonna be changing the engine too. So I guess I'm gonna get this 6-liter out, go ahead and start getting it dressed up, getting it put together, and get it put in. So either way, the oil pan's got to come off this motor because I'm going to need it. So I'm going to go ahead and, before I just jump the gun and do away with this, the noise wasn't bad. It was just a squeak. I know it's probably going to be a bearing or something, but if it's something I can easily fix on this motor and get it in by Friday or tomorrow, because today's Wednesday, so I got to try to get this thing ready. But worst case, I got the 6-liter I can throw in it with these heads. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this oil pan and see what's in there. All right, so no problem. These two right here, they're loose. I don't know if you can see that. You can hear it. So them two right there are messed up. All the rest of them are fine, completely fine. So it's only these two. So I'm gonna pull the caps off and just kind of take a look at them. But the side of our pan, it's not looking good. Our pickup tube's got some metal bearing material, all that glitter. Like Mark Rover sent me a glitter bomb. All right, so we did spin a bearing. Just took the cap off. If we look, the thing spun. Not locked onto the crank. All right, so we're tore all the way down. All the bearings looked pretty good, other than the metal that went through the motor. Just a little bit of scarring there, but what's really screwed me is the cylinder walls. Metal got beside the piston. It doesn't look terrible on this side, but this side is bad. Honestly, this cylinder, one of the cylinders that it actually spun a bearing on, you can feel it. You can hear my finger catching it. Whereas like this cylinder, perfectly smooth. This one's a little, well, it's pretty good. But this one is, you can hear my nail catching it. So this motor is gonna have to be bored. So I think I'm just gonna put this one to the side. We're gonna build it one day and maybe it can go back in. But as of right now, oh, that one's really bad. That one's good. So yeah, this is gonna be put on hold for now. I'm gonna put the mains back on it, and we're gonna put this one on the back burner. So I guess I'm gonna get the 6-liter in here and start bolting parts to it. So here's the 6-liter I was talking about. This thing come out of a burn up Yukon. As you can see, crank sensor's melted, but physically the motor's fine. And the balancer's a little melted, but that's coming off anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the timing cover, go ahead and do our new cam, timing chain, get this thing dressed up, ready to go, clean the surfaces and get it put in. Can't wait. So what I might do with this is I might just build a stroker out of this since this thing is good. Since the cylinder walls need to be bored anyway, crank screwed. That motor over there is a 6.2. It's got a messed up cylinder wall. So I got 6.2s to play with later, but for right now, I think this thing's gonna actually help us. I mean, I kind of need a little more weight on the front of this car because I'm running 20K springs. So this actually might help us, about 110 extra pounds. And if not, we'll test that theory. So I'm gonna get this thing cleaned up and ready to go. Oh, the glitter. Really right here. Man, that is terrible. So we are back in action. Man, it's been a long day. It's about 8 o'clock at night, and that was my goal, get the motor put together, get it in. Now tomorrow I can work on getting it running. That shouldn't take very long at all, and hopefully get it back on the dyno and see what we can do. I'm not really going for high power. I just want a car that runs good and I can take to the track and it be reliable. So that 6-liter, like I said, it come out of a burn up Yukon. Whole front end was burnt off of it, but the motor looked perfect. Having a plastic engine cover over the intake and everything, it just melted down around the motor and pretty much protected everything. So if I got a picture, I'll put it in right here. Well, we're trying to save this 6-liter. It's full of water from being put out, but everything's looking good. We'll pull the heads and see if there's any rust. This thing was completely toast. Well, we're back for another try. 2 days later, we're back on the dyno. Let's hope this motor holds up. So we're gonna add 1 more degree of timing just to see if it picks up a little bit. This dyno does read pretty low for most cars, so that number's probably a little more on another dyno, probably around 410. I'm happy with it. I just want this thing to run good. So we're gonna try 1 more degree and see what happens.